The blues, the calm, the breeze, the smiles. These make the rustic charm of this little island off Cebu, Malapascua Island. Its beauty breathes on land and underwater, giving life to its people. Ronel has been working at Malapascua Exotic Beach and Dive Resort for the past 16 years. Here he has worked his way up from being boat crew to receiving his dive training. For the last 7 years, he has worked as a dive guide, making his livelihood by leading tourists around the dive sites of Malapascua. Divers from all over the world come to Malapascua, home of the thresher shark. This is the only place in the entire world where thresher sharks can be predictably seen almost every day, all year round.
Ang first nako ang nahuna-huna pagkakita nako sa iho.
My first thought when I first saw a shark was that it seemed just like watching TV.
Nagtan-aw og TV, murag naara sa.
It was like I was in an aquarium. It was just going round and round just there.
Atubangan sa aqua din.
Early in the morning, the pelagic threshers go to the sunken island of Monad Shoal to have the cleaner fish remove parasites from its body. Harmless to humans, the thresher shark was named so because it whips its prey with its tail, literally threshing them. The tail cracks forward like a whip, generating a pressure wave that stuns or even kills the closest fish. That damages the internal swim bladder and sometimes even the bones of their prey.
Ang iho gihatag sa akong kinabuhi.
For me, the shark is a gift of life from God. Because of the sharks, my income has increased. More tourists are returning too. If more tourists come back, my income will increase even more. Then I can support my family. On November 8, 2013, Typhoon Haiyan ripped through the central part of the Philippines, thrashing towns, leaving it ravaged to the ground with the horrifying stench of death. Malapascua was directly in the destructive path of Haiyan. And just like the other towns in the typhoon's path, the once serene island of Malapascua was devastated. Like most island folk, Ronel lost almost everything to the storm. He had just finished building his house for his wife and 2 young children.
Dugay-dugay ko nagtigom para sa akong balay, mga hapit mo.
It took me a long time to save for my house, maybe for almost a year.
Ug na ako'y sobrang gamay.
I would put away some savings every payday. If I had some left after buying food and water, I would buy more materials. When I saw my home was gone and destroyed by the typhoon, I felt extremely tired. It took a long time to save, how many months, and the hardship of transporting all those other materials. His hopes of rebuilding his life, his home, lie on the thresher sharks making their way to Monad Shoal early in the morning. The day after the storm was filled with uncertainty. Ronel made his way to work, unsure if there would still be work for him.
Pag first atong may gibalita nga naay bagyo, ang akong una-una nga.
When I first heard the news about the typhoon, I thought things would be okay. Because we have experienced many typhoons before. So I thought that even if it was strong, it would not be that bad. I never thought that typhoon would be how it was. It was incredibly stronger than others that came our way, because it destroyed almost all of the houses. I was a bit scared that time because of the force of the wind. I thought that there would be many homes destroyed by the typhoon because it was so very strong.
Nag-uulsag ko kay
I was quite worried because even though Exotic Beach and Dive Resort had little damage,
Apoy kuan tungod atong bagyo ha. Una-una nako basi.
I thought the underwater would be damaged because it was just so strong.
Ilang sa dagat kay
I could see here on the beach the bits of corals that were washed ashore because of the strong wind and waves.
Tungod sa kakusog sa hangin ug bawd. Nag-uul kay
Then I
ko nga
became
basi
very
ilang
worried.
sa dagat.
I thought the damage underwater would be the same as on the island.
Sa isla.
Ronel and his colleague Paul go for a dive to assess the impact of the typhoon on a nearby reef. Crushed corals. The storm surge wiped away age-old reefs, scouring the once rich garden, a popular dive site, bare. Who would dive in the barren reefscape? This destroyed reef is no longer a place to bring customers. Ronel and his manager, Yua, need to check on the other sites. Their theory is that reefs on the other side of the island were protected from the typhoon. Ronel then set out to explore the sheltered reefs in the northwest side of the island with some guests. Even before the typhoon, the underwater treasures of Malapascua has been the driver of local dive tourism, with the thresher sharks as the main attraction. But without the reefs, marine life will not be sustained. This imbalance can cause a drop of nearly 70% of employment on the island. The view that greets Ronel is encouragingly colorful. Spectacular soft corals continue to flourish. Ronel then searches for resident wildlife. Between the corals is a pair of harlequin shrimps, keeping watch over their food supply. A blue starfish, which they will gradually consume, consigning the starfish to a slow but inevitable death. This flamboyant cuttlefish shows off his colorful display. In between the fragile branches of the Gorgonian fan, a tiny seahorse, the pygmy seahorse, no longer than 2 centimeters. There it is, just where he saw it before the storm. But how about the thresher sharks? Will they still be there? The next day, Ronel set out early to find out.
Ang akong nahuna-huna padulong pa lang ni sa Monad.
On our way to Monad, I was thinking that maybe there are no more sharks, that the corals in the sea would be destroyed.
Pero excited gihapon ko nga
I became a bit worried, but at the same time excited to see what was under the sea. I wanted to check and really see for myself whether the sharks were there or not. I was apprehensive because maybe there would be no more sharks coming to this place to get cleaned. But I could still see that the small cleaner wrasse were still there, the small fish that cleaned the thresher shark. As I was underwater, I was thinking that maybe it was really gone, because the sharks had not yet come. After a few minutes, the sharks suddenly arrived. When I saw the sharks, I breathed deeply. I was very happy. After the typhoon and after checking on the sharks, I think that we can work and hope again, since the sharks are still there. We have hope. I think we can return to our normal ways, and we can slowly rebuild our homes again.